Yo, what's up, guys? Earl DFS coming back with another NHL video, and today we've got an 8-game slate to break down for you. With a few pretty cool spots. One spot that I'm actually really liking today, I'm going to probably be way over the field on. And hopefully this could be a fun 8-game slate. Alright, let's start with our first game here. Pittsburgh Penguins, New Jersey Devils. 3.41 for the Penguins, 2.59 for the Devils. Matt Murray, Mackenzie Blackwood, projected in net. Just starting off with goalies here. I like Matt Murray. Minus 175 on the road. Only 7,600. I think that's a very reasonable price for a goalie that is such a decent sized favorite. Going up against a New Jersey team that shoots the puck a decent amount, just not high quality chances. For Pittsburgh lines, so we see Hornquist has moved down to the third line. Marleau has moved up to the second line, which makes that line a little bit more affordable. You go from a $6,100 player to a $3,100 player. So I'll be looking to play some Pittsburgh 2 tonight. I like that the Malkin Rush line I have basically the whole year. That top line with Zucker, Crosby, and Sheary looks okay. You can approach that line many different ways. You can play just Crosby and Zucker, leave off Sheary. You can do Crosby, Zucker, and then look at like Malkin and Rust. Either way, Schultz is now the top power play defenseman there. So at 3,400, I think he can be a decent play tonight. Not too bad of a price for someone on the top power play. Yes, he's skating next to Jack Johnson, but which I think this will lead to less ownership with Chris Letang. Just something to keep an eye out for. I think Letang could be a nice play at 6,600 tonight. He's one of my pay-up options. I think there are definitely better pay-up options, seeing that we have the Predators on the slate tonight with Roman Josi. Morgan Rielly is going to be back tonight. He's just not listed on that line. We have Krug with that top Boston line. Jacob Slavin, 5,100, not terrible price there. D'Angelo's up to 5,900 for defenseman here. Thomas Chabot, and then like Quinn Hughes. So we don't have too many super expensive super expensive defensemen tonight. Only a few over 6K. So I'm liking Letang possibly as a nice pay-up option. I prefer Roman Josi much more, though. On the New Jersey side, for the first team on my 6 under 16K, there's the New Jersey top line here once again. Nico Hischier, Palmieri, and Jack Hughes. They are priced at the full line is only 12.5. So definitely sign me up for some of that top line there. Very cheap for a top line. Yes, and they're at home. They're going up against Pittsburgh, which is not the greatest of matchups, but I definitely do like that top line for a cheap price. And you can always partner that up with Severson, Suppan, Mueller at 2,500. He's going to be skating with that top line next to PK Suppan. He'll give you 24, 21 minutes. So just something to look at there. At 2,500, he's a decent punt option. But overall, I'm getting to New Jersey 1, and then shares of these top 2 lines for Pittsburgh. Next game on the slate is the Nashville Predators taking on the Montreal Canadiens. 2.75 implied totals for both of these teams. Saros and Carey Price in net. And for Nashville, I like their second line here. They are my second team of the 6 under 6K. They are priced at a price of 14.8, which is actually not bad. If at a 14.8 price, that allows you to be able to fit in a $7,500 Roman Yossi, and it's still affordable. That's kind of like the only line I truly like for Nashville tonight is that Granlund, Forsberg, Duchesne line, because I think that might go up against Montreal 2, which would be a very nice matchup. On the Montreal side, it's probably Montreal 1 or nothing at all. For defensemen, either or of these top two guys, Ryan Ellis, Roman Yossi, I like. And then Shea Weber is not a bad option as well. Petrie is a nice option too. With that top power play time, it is always nice to see for a defenseman. Next game on the slate, Boston Bruins, Philadelphia Flyers. 2.75 implied for both these teams once again. Last game was the same way. Keep an eye on these lines to see where they shift. But I'm not a huge fan of this game as a DFS game. It's just unappealing. Both these teams are really good defensively. Boston won. They're Boston 1, but they're going up against Philadelphia 1, one of the best defensive lines in hockey. That being said, I'd probably, if I would play a line here, is line 2 for Philly. But once again, Boston's not a good matchup defensively. They're just not a team I want to target against. I think this will be a low-scoring game. I'm not going to get much Boston 1. I'm not going to get much Philly 1. I think this is like the fade game of the night. Even it's going to be a great, great hockey game, not a DFS game. That being said, I'll be looking more towards Tuukka Rask and Carter Hart. More towards Carter Hart. He's the same price, and he's playing at home, which Carter Hart's been really, really good at home. So I'm not going to get so much Boston or Philadelphia. The only players I can really get to are Rask and Hart really in this game. And I'll obviously have shares of Boston 1 and Philly 1, but it's not going to be more than 5% today. On to the next game of the slate, which is a much, much more appealing game. Tampa Bay Lightning, Toronto Maple Leafs, 3.25 implied for both these teams. Andrei Vasilevskiy, Frederik Andersen. And let's start with the Tampa Bay side. Number one, I'm not getting to any of these goalies. It's just not a great play. At least I don't think. I think there will be goals scored in this game. So I do like this top line for Tampa Bay. They are still really good even without Stamkos. You can do Point and Kucherov and leave off Palat if you so please. Sergachev could be interesting to play with them with that top power play with that. And then line 2, I always feel like they're a decent line. They're not as cheap as they used to be. They're up at 15.2 now, which is rather unfortunate. They are one of my 6 under 16K though. I will be getting to a little bit of them. It's just unfortunate they have risen so much. I remember they were all like 4K at one point. So, and this was like a $11,000, $12,000, $13,000 line. Now it is 15.2, and that's a little less appealing, but it's still something I will get to on this slate. Defenseman Sergachev is looking like a decent play. Coburn at 2,500 looks like a decent punt. Bogosian, he's good at getting that 3 block shot bonus. Halfway decent punt. And then I like Cernak if you're playing that top line as like a lower-owned defenseman, because people are going to start McDonough, Sergachev, and Shattenkirk over Cernak, and he's just not getting much ownership. He's going to be skating with that top line, so I really like Eric Cernak as a contrarian play tonight. On the other side, Toronto Maple Leafs. I'll just give you the same bullshit I always do. Basically, Toronto 2. They are my fourth team now that I've mentioned, that are the fourth line. That is my 6 under 16K. Nylander, Tavares, Kerfoot. Once again, same bullshit. They will get less ownership. They're always half the ownership or a third of the ownership of the top line of Matthew, Marner, and Hyman. You can always pair them in a power play. Same things I usually say of Toronto still applies tonight. They're a powerhouse offense playing at home where they play even better. Tyson Barrie is on that top power play. Morgan Riley is expected to play tonight. They just haven't added him to the lineup here yet. Keep an eye on where Morgan Riley's looking to play and go from there. But I see myself getting to a decent amount of Toronto and Tampa Bay tonight. Tampa Bay I really like better than Toronto, though. Tampa Bay won just because Toronto's defense sucks. Even with Morgan Riley coming back, it's still iffy. On to probably my favorite game of the night here, which sounds crazy. Carolina Hurricanes, Detroit Red Wings, 3.38 for the Hurricanes, 2.12 for the Red Wings. Jonathan Bernier, and tonight we get the return of Peter Mrazek. So we don't have to worry about Nedeljkovic. We don't have to worry about Forsberg. We are getting Peter Mrazek. He is back, and he's 7,100. Here's what I'm going to say. Take this as you please. Peter Mrazek is a cash game lock. If you guys play cash in NHL, I honestly don't play cash. He's a lock. At 7,100 as a minus 240 going up against the Red Wings. 7,100? That just doesn't make any sense to me. I was expecting him to be 8K, 8,300 like most goalies are against the Red Wings. So definitely, I like this Peter Mrazek tonight. He's just very appealing. His projection, he projects out really nice. I'm probably going to get to around 40 to 50% of him. He's a great pay down option. So I am in love with Peter Mrazek tonight. Now these Carolina lines are looking a little funky. I don't know if they're switching them around or what they're planning on doing here. But you can play any combination of any of these top three lines. I'm hoping Svechnikov goes back up with the Aho Teravainen line instead of Niederreiter. I'm not a fan of Niederreiter on that top line. I prefer Svechnikov. I like the SAT line. I'll probably still play them for a power play stack. I'll probably have Teravainen, Aho, and Svechnikov in a bunch of my stacks with Jacob Slavin. Edmondson is a nice play at 3,500. Jake Gardner's on that secondary power play at only 2,900. He scored a goal on Sunday. Brady Shea is not a bad play either. Just something keep in mind. I really like the Hurricanes tonight as a full line stacks, as power play stacks, especially Peter Mrazek. So definitely something to keep in mind. $7,100 Peter Mrazek is actually my favorite play of the night. He's going to be my thumbnail cover. You guys obviously know that because you've seen that now. But Mrazek is definitely my top play of the night. On the other side, Red Wings, if you're going to be getting to them, it's Detroit one or bust. I don't see the point in playing anyone below that. If you want to play Bernier, okay. The Hurricanes do take a lot of shots at goal. He's 7,100. He will get that shot volume. I just see myself spending 7,100 for Mrazek instead of Bernier for that game. So overall, Mrazek, and then any of the top 3 lines. If you want to power play stack them, if you want to get creative, go for it. Hurricanes are my top play of the night. My favorite team of the night. Next game, New York Rangers, Dallas Stars, 2.4 for the Rangers, 3.1 for the Stars. Igor Shesterkin, Ben Bishop. Ben Bishop's the most expensive goalie on the slate. Keep that in mind. That being said, he is also at home. He's also a favorite. He also has a low implied total against him. He's also playing the Rangers, which for some reason when they are given low implied totals, they go off for 5 goals. I am going to get to some Rangers tonight. This Zibanejad's line looks pretty good. DiGiuseppe makes it affordable. I'm not a huge fan of playing DiGiuseppe, but I will in full line stacks. Panarin, Strome, Foss line, I like them as well. Power play stacking, Zibanejad, Panarin, Buchnevich, Strome. I am always a fan of doing that. If you're going to have either of these top 2 line stacks, I think Tony DeAngelo is a must, especially on that power play if you're power play stacking. He has gotten up to 5,900, but I think he is a necessity if you are full line stacking either of the top 2 lines or power play stacking. On the Dallas side, my line that is 6 under 16 is this top Dallas line. Ben, Seguin, and Perry. Perry at 3,500 makes this line affordable. You got 2 guys on the top power play. So just something to look at. Also, Dallas 3 is a very nice cheap option. But I'm looking more at Dallas 1. You can partner that with Klingberg. Lindell doesn't have the power play, so he'll be lower owned at 3,900. So those are the 2 defensemen I'm looking at. If you're playing on full line stacking there. And overall, I'm going to get to Dallas 1, maybe a little bit of Dallas 3. I'm not a huge fan of playing 3rd and 4th lines, but I'll get to a little bit of Dallas 3. They're just underpriced. You got 2 guys on the top power play unit. So on to the last 2 games of the night. 10 o'clock starts for both these teams, or for both these games. In Vancouver, it's the Canucks taking on the Islanders. 2.65 for the Isles, 2.85 for the Canucks. Semyon Varlamov and Thatcher Demko going for goalies. And started off, I really like this top line for the Islanders. They'll be going probably up against the Eriksson, Horvat, Pearson line. So definitely something I wouldn't mind targeting a little bit. They have a low implied total, so I think that's going to keep people off the Islanders a little bit. And that top line's been playing really well. Barzal has been struggling lately. He got a goal against Ottawa, but since then, but before then, he didn't get a single goal in a month and a day. So he has been struggling, but he will get assists. Eberle's been playing really well lately. He's up to 5,700. And Andres Lee is 6,300. So this line is getting a little pricey. They're 18-1, but they're a nice line. I like the matchup against Vancouver. It's against Demko. It's not like it's against Markstrom. He's hurt. Just like a lot of this Vancouver team is injured. So just a line that I don't mind getting 5 to 7% of when it comes down to it. My last 616 is Islanders 2. They are the cheapest line on this 616. They're 11-2. I'm not a huge fan of him. I like Nelson with Brassard with that secondary power play unit. Del Cole is iffy. I prefer more of. See, now looking at it, I think this Peggio, Bailey, Beauvillier is more of their second line rather than Nelson, Brassard, and Del Cole. But you can play either of those lines. They're cheaper. The Peggio line's a little pricey, but they'll be getting more of Vancouver 2 and Vancouver 3 and Vancouver 4. So now looking at it, I like that Peggio line a little bit more. For the Vancouver Canucks, once again, it's that Toffoli, Peterson, and Miller line. They'll probably be going up against that top line. If I would have to truly guess, now looking at it, and the Del Cole may be getting more of that Russo line, and Peggio line may be getting that that top line there. I don't know though, so I'll look out for news on that one. But overall, I'll be getting to some Islanders 1, maybe some Islanders 3. Devin Towers with that top power play unit. Ryan Pulock's always a nice option for a one-off defenseman. And I'm going to get to some Vancouver 2. And on our final game of the night, we have the Ottawa Senators and the Anaheim Ducks. 3.18 for the Ducks, 2.82 for the Senators. Craig Anderson, Ryan Miller expected in goal. My top line pick for Ottawa would be the second line here of White, Ryan, and Balcers. They just project out the best point per dollar line for Ottawa. I'm not really looking to play much Ottawa tonight. Just as a team, they suck. So, but they are a cheap line. They do have some top power play. So that's about all I like from Ottawa. On the Anaheim side, I'll be looking at Anaheim 1 and 2, maybe a little bit of power play stacks. But overall, Anaheim looks like to be a mess, just like Ottawa. Del Zotto's going to get some power play time. Irving did pretty well the other night. So do as you please. I'm not a fan of this last game there. And that's going to just about do it for this video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comment section below who you think is going to be the best line of the slate. And I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace out.